Bohn joined now by one of the newest members of the UFC roster, Mr. Malcolm Wellmaker, man. You are fresh off winning that contract on Dana White's Contender series. It's been a few days now. How has life been since one of the biggest moments of your career, probably the biggest moment of your career so far?
Yeah, life been different, man.
Mm.
I came home. It's almost been a celebration every day since then, and it seems like it's the wave gonna keep going. So it feels like a dream, but the dream ain't stopped, and I'm loving it, man.
Yeah, the dream is real, very much so, and you earned it with a hell of a knockout, man. I think that was top 10 on Sports Center as well the night it
Yeah,
happened, which was pretty cool. Did you get to watch that like live when they popped it up, or were people just sending it to you like as that kind of streamed in?
yeah. It was one of those things where people saw it on the countdown and they kept sending it to me, saying they couldn't believe I was on there. So it's been good, man.
Yeah, that's so cool. What do you feel like differently about the fight, I guess, now between, it's such a crazy rush. You fight, Dana tells you what's going to happen. They bring you into the media room to do a scrum. It's all happening very quickly, I'm sure. But now that you've had time to digest, probably watch the highlight many times, how do you just feel about everything you did that night and how it all unfolded?
Honestly, man, I feel like it was absolute best case scenario. Even though it was a short fight, I had 2.5 minutes and it was a busy 2.5 minutes. So I showed a lot of different tools that I have. I showed a lot of different type of looks I can give. And I feel like I showed as well that he was a decent opponent right before getting obviously a devastating knockout. So it was everything I could have asked for in a opportunity in front of Dana White.
Yeah, I think you're probably already pretty aware of like the power you had coming in, but when you can drop a guy like that, moving back on a counter shot and stuff, like does that give you a different level of confidence in your power going forward?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I knew I had power to put him out, but I also know he hadn't been knocked out, in that fashion before too. So
Mhm.
to hit him like that on the back foot and to knock out somebody who hasn't been put down in that way is just, further confirmation that I can do what I do on a high level and do it well.
Yeah. You said it's been kind of an endless celebration here. What's been the coolest part or something that stands out when someone asks you like about the biggest thing or most exciting thing that happened on the back end of that moment?
I came back home and obviously they did like a surprise for me at the airport. I didn't
Mm.
know anybody was gonna be there, but I came through the doors and all the like people working at the airport were like smiling and stuff. And I just thought it was a good day, but they knew. So I walked through the doors to go to baggage claim, and man, it was a ton of people there screaming for me. They had signs, with my face on it and everything. That was an absolutely magical moment, man. And then the following day, I ended up at my local baseball stadium and they let me do
Mhm.
a first pitch. So that was crazy. They
Dope.
they got a jersey for me, put my name on the back. I mean, it's been insane, man.
How did you do on the first pitch? Because MMA fighters have a bit of a scattered reputation when it comes to this. Some of them are very bad. There's been a few good ones. How did you do?
I did good, bro. I was
Okay.
scared. I was scared the whole time. I was asking people for tips, and I went out there, man. I just sent it, and it went okay. So I couldn't do it twice, but I did it the time that mattered.
Absolutely. How many people came to the airport, would you say, for you?
Man, it was at least 50 people, man. It was a good bit,
Wow.
man. It was way more than I was expecting.
Yeah. Do you feel like, walking around town and stuff, are you a little more known? Like, are you don't have to pay for a coffee again for the rest of your life, I hope, things like that?
Yeah, I went to Walgreens the next day to try to go get some canvas prints done, and the lady recognized me, and she literally just entered a price for them. Didn't even give me like a percentage discount. Entered a price, got me a huge discount, man, and just told me she was proud of me. Took a picture with me. It's been awesome, bro.
That's amazing. And I guess, this is just step one in the journey though, right? So you gotta, I'm sure, come back to earth and be humble,
Yes,
going forward. When does
that's
that
right.
start? And do you kind of move past the joy of the moment and start focusing at whatever's not gonna be next?
Honestly, man, it started as soon as I landed. I mean, I've been obviously going through the motions and doing a lot of the celebrating in the victory lap, but I was back on the mats on Thursday night. We got a couple guys in camp with fights coming up locally, and we've been committed to making sure that they're going to be ready. So I've been back on the mats helping those guys out, being a partner for them. And I'm already working on what my next training camp is going to look like and getting sessions scheduled. So
That's great. That must be so inspiring and motivating for those other guys on the regional scene, right? Because we now see like it's pretty much the best way to get in the UFC seems like it's through Contender Series, or at least
That's
the
right.
most efficient way. So you see these younger guys now, and what are they saying? Like they probably know that you've laid out the foundation, and if they follow it and do the right things, they can be where you are in short order.
Absolutely, man. It's crazy. You know, I was sparring that Thursday with one of my teammates, and he just stopped me. He was like, "I'm sparring a UFC fighter." I was like, "Bro, stop!" You know what I mean? So it's super inspiring, man. I can see it on their faces. I can see this, fire under all the guys and the way that they training right now. And that was one of the things that I wanted to come from it, man, to motivate those guys so that after me, man, we have generations of talent coming out of the city and achieving great things on the biggest stage.
Are you the first one from your spot who's made it to the UFC? Sorry if I'm forgetting someone or overlooking
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm the very first man. I'm only the third professional athlete out of our camp ever. Pops, who started the academy, obviously he was professional, but that was like Wild West days. Like he was doing like 3-man free for alls and a gi, And then my head coach Jake, he was the first pro out of the school, 135er, and dominated the local scene. And then I came in behind him. So not only am I, the first to make it to the stage, but I'm only the third of professional athletes that our school has produced.
Wow. So I mean, I'm sure at some point in the journey, or maybe people have told you, or you've thought like you need to go somewhere else if you want to get here, or this, that, and the other thing, right? And to
Yeah.
know that you've proved those people wrong, and there is a path here. I guess just how does that make you feel, and to get that validation too to the people around you.
You know, that was a real big thing, man. Even when we started fighting in Atlanta for the first time, we was coming to Atlanta. Our school was called Fabulous Kempo Karate at the time, and guys was like, "Oh, this is a Kempo Karate school." So, the expectations were low. We didn't have quite a name yet, and as I started achieving things like amateur titles and starting to make a pro debut, there were a lot of people who I think they had my best interest in mind, tried to convince me that I needed to be somewhere else if I wanted to actually, achieve my potential. And you know, Jake, Pops, the gym I'm at today is the same gym that taught me how to throw my very first punch, 7, 8 years ago. And it meant something to me to be able to contribute to the name, to be able to put the UFC banner on our gym. And I mean, I think it's just a great demonstration of loyalty and love that I have for my team. And man, I'm content.
Love that. That's a great story. And now it's only be a few days. I know you said in the scrum right after, you're like, I'm just going to be waiting by the phone and kind of figure that out. We've seen a few of these guys on Contender Series, like the winners. A few of them have already been booked for like later in the year or whatever.
Yeah.
Has the phone rang? Have they had any talks of when the official UFC debut could happen?
To be honest, I don't know. My
Mhm.
manager Jason House, he might have had a phone call or two. He might be discussing options. But typically, the way my career has always gone is my management talks to my coaches, and them come up with a decision, and they ask me if I'm available, and it's always a yes for me. So I'm going to be available. They know that. So it's just a matter of when they get the offer and they come to me with it. So I'm just waiting.
Yeah, in your perfect world, in your mind, if they ask for your input, like what would it be? Do you want to go back to the Apex on one of those cards? Do you want to fight, an arena? What type of competition would you like to fight? There's so many guys in this division. Like, what would be your perfect world of what you would want?
I honestly don't know because my only experience so far has been the Apex. So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, what it's like fighting in different cities and different stadiums. Um, so meeting DC was crazy. Having him commentate one of my cards was crazy. So I think at this point now, I want to start meeting more people in the UFC. So I want to fight in front of Joe Rogan. Like that's my next
Yeah.
dream. So I don't really care where, but Joe Rogan's on the wish list, and I would love, for DC to commentate on me again too. He was an amazing person.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it was a pretty short fight and stuff, and obviously you were
Yeah.
impressive in there, but did you feel like, all the commentators did you justice in how they called the fight and everything?
Absolutely, man. When DC was commentating on the replay of my knockout, he showed so much admiration for the shot I threw, how hard I threw it, how I was, moving on the back foot, and he made sure everybody knew, how magnificent of a shot it was to land. So big ups to DC, and we talked afterwards, man. He's the sweetest, man. I love him.
Yeah, no, DC is one of the best in the whole sport, man. He's such a great dude. But in terms of like the level of competition, there's no name. You just don't care at this point, right? You just want to start building the resume, and that's how it goes.
That's it, man. I mean, I'll step in if Marab gets injured. I'll fight Sugar Sean O'Malley. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm waiting by the phone, and I'm good, man. I got the momentum going. I'll be ready for whoever it is, man. And I'm just excited to get back in there again.
Yeah. If that fight does happen, as we all expect it to in a little less than 2 weeks, how do you think it ultimately goes between O'Malley and Marab?
I think Sean O'Malley is really, really good, man. I think he still struggles to get his recognition. Some people kind of question the path that he took, but he is a very, very good, sharp striker with great movement and distance control. And I think that he'll be able to maintain his distance and pick apart Marab over time. I do think Marab will get in. I do think Marab will challenge his cardio, maybe put him on his back. But I think that Sean O'Malley has continued to improve every fight, and I expect it to be the same for this one. So.
Do you think the winner is going to hold that belt for a while, or do you think, a lot of people, analysts, think they're just keeping the belt warm for Umar Nurmagomedov for the next little bit here because he seems to be that good? Do you think he's kind of probably going to take it off the winner no matter who gets it?
I don't know. Umar is good, man. And he's one of the Dagestanis, so like he's just a nightmare for absolutely anybody. I think whoever wins, he has a very good chance at, taking the title from them. The only thing I could maybe see is, a decision with one of the guys. And if it's Sean O'Malley, a rematch if it's a close decision. But
Yeah.
it's scary. It's a scary fight, man. But I would like to see Sean O'Malley build a legacy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and of course he came off the similar path, one of the first Contender Series champions, all that type of
Right.
stuff. So, I mean, the blueprint is there for you, right? I know Bantamweight is an insane division, in my opinion, the best in the sport right now, the deepest. It's just crazy. But when you look at the division, it's like, damn, this is a treacherous climb, or is it exciting knowing like the amount of really good guys you could be fighting, and if you could beat a lot of them, what it'll say about you and how good you could be?
Yeah, for a long time, I would go to pay-per-view events, or I would watch, fight nights at home, and I'd pay special attention to the 135 division. And I mean, I looked at them at competition, but it wasn't as real as it is today, And so when I think about what my career path looks like, and I think about these guys that I could fight, it's both scary and exciting because there's so much talent in the 135 division that it's a list of guys I could fight, and it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. And I feel like regardless of who wins the fight, which I expect it to be me, obviously, right? I think the fans will be happy. I think Dana will be happy. And I think our careers move forward regardless. So it's a lot of guys that I'm very excited to get put into the cage with.
For sure. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Sean Shelby and Jason Host, everything come up with for the official debut. I guess, these cards were September 2nd now. The cards are starting to fill up pretty quick through the end of the year. Do you think you'll be able to get in there this year? Is that like maybe the number one hope, no matter where, when, who, that you do fight again this year?
Absolutely. I got the momentum. I'm in great shape. I took next to no damage. I 100% want to get in before the end of the year. That's my hope.
Awesome, man. Well, I hope that happens for you. I really appreciate the time, and it was great to meet you. And it sounds like, you're going to have a very bright future, man. So I think we'll be doing many more of these in the years to come, and can't wait to see what they get on the books for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, man. I'll talk soon.